Hi everyone, welcome to this week's Art Weekly. Following on from last week, I thought I'd just show you, I added in a little bit more on this first Cornwall painting. And my feeling is just to let that sit and turn my attention to, I showed you two other little boards that I'd got running up, and I also talked about this painting and how it would work, the tan rust would work if I put in a shade of blue-green here. So I feel like I want to put in some play with this. That's what I feel like I want to do this morning. Right. Okay. I'm just using, this is an old, not great quality, an old sketchbook. It happened to be sitting here and I've just been using it to mix up my paints. And if I show you, that's a pretty loaded piece of painty paper. I could use that for collage material. And that is probably what I will do. So I don't get rid of those, I'll just keep that. And sometimes you get unexpected colour play, and that can be useful. So a blue-green, where's the colour wheel? So looking at a blue-green then, what would happen if I took, I've got phthalo, I need a really tiny bit. Oh crumbs, you know what's going to happen. This is a golden fluid and I've had this before. They seize up a bit. I'll take it from the lid. So I've got phthalo green, a bit too much black, and then primary blue. And that now, if I show you, that now looks pretty deep. It's quite a nice colour actually, but that's pretty deep. So if I just lift that, that's not a bad shade. Not too bad, is it? So again, that, if I press that into a fresh sheet of paper, I should be doing all this in my sketchbook, but that, you know, you've got the pressing into the paint, nice bits of collage, quick, easy collage material there. I keep thinking I've got something to follow. There is somewhere a photograph. So we're having one of those mornings, I'm chatting away and the camera is turned off. It's always so lovely, you know, when a painting has sat for the longest time. We had a visit and it was a really misty, murky day. We have lots of misty, murky trips and that was one of them. And it's really a happy moment when you then re-engage. For whatever reason, you just don't know, everything has its time. Everything in the studio has its time. So I panic, I get a little panicky sometimes, and the anxiety can start to bubble. Oh my God, I don't know what I'm doing, what am I doing? And the best thing for that is action. Just get on with something, just get your brushes, get in here, get started on something. It's past lunchtime and I have got completely carried away. But that's a nice beginning to the Cornwall wall. I came in this morning. I'm really pleased with that painting, and I think it'll look great in a frame. And now I've done a little bit of smalls. I've engaged with that. I found a few gems. And now I think I'll turn my attention to a little bit more work over there. I might mix rust, the rust of my jumper, and it's a red-orange, and if I add black, it should give me the shade of rust. It should give me something of that. I'm going to try and mix up a red-orange, put I'm going to put a dop of black in, carbon black, and see if I can just get, I just want to touch in maybe a little bit. This is a cadmium orange hue, scarlet. That is a black. And that in itself is probably too much black. Am I the only person that goes in and always uses too much? But that's a lovely colour. Love that. Add a bit more of that orange. We're getting there. Maybe a tiny bit more red. A little bit more red is making it a little bit more, let's do a bit more red then. I think a little bit more red is making it more the rust I'm after. I'll take that over there quickly before it dries. Remember, if you're mixing on paper, the acrylic will dry fast. Looking at this pretty abstract board, wondering where to go with that, what could I do with that? Can I reference what I've got? What do I want to keep? What do I want to keep at this stage? Do I want to keep anything at this stage? I'm looking here. So it comes round and I can see another round of green here. And I can see some more green here before the road disappears. I'm just referencing this snaky road painting. I liked the shapes. And then rust, there is that lovely rust up on high. So if I grab that orange, what I might do is attempt to mix this on the board. So we want some red. I'm just going to lose, it's just heaps of paint again, that's just, and then we want a tiny bit of black. I've purposely picked up the most hopeless brush. I cut these bristles down just to see if I could get myself a different kind of effect. I'll let those dry and come back a bit later. I had a little clear up this morning and discovered this tool that came from Lisbon, I think. So it's always worth doing a tidy. And I'm very excited because I was going to keep this to myself, but I can't keep it to myself because it's so exciting. If you've been following you know that I talked about cabin 1, which is the other end of the studio. If you're new, we've got 2 cabins with a joining section. Cabin 1 is the darker end down there. We have a joining section, and then this is where I get all the light. And oh crumbs, we've been going round and round. How can we get more light in cabin 1? So we've been thinking about taking out the window down that end and going in with some doors, but we've decided to go a little bit further than that and try and replicate this glass front by pushing out a little bit and filling the space with 4 long windows. Obviously it won't happen. I want it to happen overnight, but it won't happen overnight. We finally come up with something that we think is going to be a really good solution. And I just dream about more space, more light. So yeah, very excited about that. Right, back to the painting again. I'm looking at the road and I'm thinking I can treat the road as a river. To my horror, in tidying up, I found 6 tubes of titanium light buff. I don't know how that's happened. I do know how that's happened because I've allowed it all to get in a mess. This is a good example of scratching away and then going back in again. So I do really enjoy that freedom to add and subtract repeatedly in order to get some texture. I think that's always the aim, to get some texture, something less than flat. I come in with my stick. I do like painting with the stick, and then I come in with paint that's down on the paper palette. And the other thing you can do when you push your painty paper into the palette is you can take your stick and mark the back. You could use any tool actually to then put some line, put some mark down, and that's quite effective. For me, I quite like that. We have another glorious autumn day today. It's fantastic. My attention was taken with the other little board canvas that had all that paint, leftover paint, and I decided, first of all, I went in with white paint and then took a tool and scratched through, put some marks in. So this is just very early stages of what might be. What was I looking at? I don't know if the camera will show it. I was looking at that little stone outbuilding. I don't think I'm going to do too much more on here. I like that these two work well together. So I think that I'll just let that settle, let that be. I've got out, I think this is about an 8x8 deep, nice deep edge canvas. I've got a little bit of green paint on my brush left over. And think about where I might want to go next. I'm looking up here. Oh, how exciting. I've got a little star. I am loving the colours on here. I've got a little star on two 8x8s. I think they're 8x8s. And I can feel a push into these colours. I adore the colours in there. Well, we'll see if I'll do too much more to that. I would experiment with those colours. I feel like I want to do that on a bigger scale. I had no idea. So the joy of painting is coming in this morning. I had no idea what I was doing. I know I wanted to tweak about here, and I've got something this morning. That's what I've got from painting. Something I've not seen before, something that I find exciting in colour, and that has just made my day. So the thinking is then leave it here because there's no rush, I'm under no pressure to do anything more than that with it. I dared myself to use some brown dye this morning in the machine. Oh, and these are great, these machine dyes. What have we got? This is was a linen, oh I love it, was a linen jacket in a bit of a beige tone that I wasn't excited by. I've had it a long time, so that's got a new lease of life. And a pair of jeans, pale jeans, oh la la, and they've come out really well. So, oh, what a good start to the day. In the UK, those dyes in the pod that you put into the machine are called Dylon machine dyes, and they're fantastic. Well, the dyeing isn't always a great success, but I'm absolutely thrilled to bits with the results down there. Right, I'm waffling on the theme of you never know. In the summer, in the exhibition, I met, if you follow, you know that I met quite a few lovely viewers. I met Kate and Noel, and we had a chat about the importance of just keep going. And I recently received the Just Keep Going t-shirt, and so special heartfelt thanks to Kate and Noel. Thank you so much. I love it. Okay, so I'll turn the camera, get going. I'm on my way with this refreshing this wall. And last night I had a look through. I'm so glad we can take our camera and take photographs and do videos, because you forget. You just come home, you get into your home routine, and you forget all the wonderful things you've seen and the places you've been to. So there is so much more that I want to experiment with. I think I'll see if I can work a little bit on these three. I'd started on here and then I took out so I can add back in. So burnt sienna. Let's grab a brush. I'm going to stop here, as I've built up with acrylic ink. I've got rather a lot of paint on, so I can see adjustments, but I think I'll wait for the paint to dry before going any more on those. I'm not sure where I'm off to with this one. Something about it I really like because it's bold, and there's something in here that I love. Oh, thank you so much for all the wonderful comments, and Craig's beckoning me down. It must be lunchtime. So have a fantastic week, everyone. Thank you for watching. Thank you for the lovely, lovely work.